Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is, what is today? Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, June 28th. And the moon right now is in Gemini. The moon shifts into Cancer later today, and then makes its new moon, the new moon in Cancer. We have Neptune stationing retrograde today. These larger, further out, sort of gas giant planets, shifting direction. It's occurring at 26 degrees of Pisces. And it does, generally when these planets change direction, it takes a couple of days. But this particular Neptune seems quite powerful to me. Of course, it is activating my chart in a big way, so maybe just me. But there is this reimagining that needs to take place. And I think while Neptune is retrograde, we'll have an opportunity to do that. It is retrograde until December 3rd. It goes direct December 3rd. I believe it's at 23 degrees of Pisces. 23 or 24 degrees of Pisces. It doesn't move very fast, so even when it goes through a retrograde station, it sort of just pretty much, it doesn't go back too far. And so that's happening, which can be subtle, can be confusing, can be subtle and confusing. I think I'll stick with that. We also have a square between Jupiter and the Sun. Of course, Jupiter is in Aries, the Sun in Cancer. The first quarter, crisis in action, square. It's interesting because Jupiter is the planet associated with the judiciary, and Aries is a sign of, it can be a sign of attack. And it really does feel like the judiciary in the Supreme Court. There's a word in there I can't think of right now. Haven't had enough coffee. Symbolizes the attack of women's rights by the judiciary, by the toxic masculine. And of course, we do have the controlling masculine. It's bad. It's bad. I don't know how to. It's really hard to wrap this one in sunshine, honestly. But it is a call to action to women, to girls, to Americans who want to support women and girls, and support themselves and support the right to have a family when you're ready for a family, instead of being forced to give birth to children who might not even, have a good start with that. We also have today the new moon in Cancer. It is in a square, of course, to Jupiter, and at part of what we call a Thor's hammer. If you want to know what that is, you can check out my Astrology of the Week. I go into that. We also talk about it in Moon Shadows with Ona, that we did a couple of days ago. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of tension in this new moon. It feels like an archer pulling the arrow back, and it will be released at some point. It's time to reclaim our rights, reclaim our lives, and say no to bullying. 4 years of bullying wasn't enough. We're done. We're finished. We're done with it all, guys. We are. You know it. I know it. And believe me, those Republicans know it. And honestly, I think they're shitting their pants. So I do think it's going to look good for the Democrats at the end, in November. However, we can't just assume that. We have to work towards it. And they're going to pull out all the punches to try to distract us from this. I don't know how that's going to look or how they're going to do that. But if you want action, you got to take action. And you have to ask the people who are there to represent you to take action. It's been very interesting to see who's coming up as a leader in this. Certainly AOC. I heard her say a couple of speeches, one sort of off-the-cuff speech in New York City. You should check it out, where she talks about her own experience with the idea that, am I pregnant, am I not pregnant? And then the fact that she was relieved at the time that she was not. It was a rape that she was worried about. This is what women worry about, right? They don't only worry about rape, but they worry and what they're going to do and how they're going to deal with their life after they get raped. But the consequences of that. And she said, when I was taking the pregnancy test, at least I knew I had a choice. But not a choice in whatever circumstance that you have to make it. That's an easy choice. We have the rights to ourselves and to our bodies, to our safety of our children. This is an all-out war on women, guys, and we're turning it around. And this new moon in Cancer is a clarion call for that. So whether you do it through political action, through voting, through volunteering, through whatever you have to do, supporting women who need help now because of this utter craziness, we need to do that. And women are really good at making connections. And so I personally don't know of any organizations off the top of my head, but I'm sure you all do. And if you do, you want to put it in the descriptor to inform people, that would be great. I mean, not the descriptor, the comments. It's on, guys. It is on. So what's blooming today? Well, the hydrangeas are starting to bloom. I know everybody loves those. I know I love those. And I do have actually something that might be considered a weed here, but I thought I'd let it grow. This is actually a primrose, and it grows like a weed around here. It's pretty tall. It really doesn't kind of fit, but this is the plant they make evening primrose from, which is evening primrose oil, which helps women. It's really good for PMS and that kind of thing. So I figured, let's keep that in the yard. And it's pretty tall, claiming its space like a woman claims her space. So I think that's pretty funny. We still have some roses that are still coming up, although this rose is now going to give us some more flowers. I'm excited about that. We've had a little trouble with little worms, little sucking insects here, because we don't use any pesticides. But I got some neem oil, and I think it's going to help. Let's see, what else is blooming? Ooh, blooming. Of course, the mallow over here. This is always so sweet. This is another thing that some people might consider a weed. It's all over the yard in different places. Mullein, very good for your lungs and ears. Good for ear infections. The hibiscus is growing. We don't have flowers yet. That's going to be beautiful. Those things look like freaking dinner plates. That's that's blooming. Of course, these will open up once the sun comes over the horizon. It's pretty early still here. And let's see. And then over here, of course, this is just like I see is green. We have our these daylilies. These are those orangey ones. They're so beautiful. And then we have all of this. These are actually black raspberries, so you can't eat these yet. They have to be like really, really dark, and they're really sweet. And hopefully we can get some from the birds, because a lot of times the birds eat a lot of them. But if I get out here early enough. And the thistle is growing, the globe thistle, beautiful. Those little purple balls will be balling, I guess. We had a day of rain yesterday, just deep soaking rain. We needed it. It's been actually quite beautiful here, but it's been quite dry. And the tomatoes are just going wild. The peas are just going wild. And yeah, exciting. So even in the face of all the challenges we have, things are still growing. Things are still getting better. If we tend the garden, what garden are you tending? Because that's what's going to grow. We need to tend solutions. We need to tend laws that will protect women and our rights. We need laws to protect our children. And we need to get rid of these hoo-has in the way where it's going to count the most. In the way that it's going to count the most. All right, guys, have yourself a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe. And if you haven't checked out Moon Shadows, please do. I think you'll enjoy it. But it is long, so fair warning. And the astrology of the week ahead, that's where I really get into the chart of today. So a lot of stuff happening. Okay, guys, much love. Namaste.